Hey guys, today we're going to make a beautiful feather. I'm just showing you what we're going to make. Something similar to this on a longer rock so that you can draw your feather. Now I'm just going to coat it in white paint to make it nice and bright like it's been primed. And then I'm going to use sponges and a couple of different colors here in order to get that beautiful background. Now you can use whatever colors you want to blend in on the background, but I'm going from a darker blue to a purple or a violet. So it's really depends on what kind you want to make, what colors you want to work with. I am going to show you a couple of different ones at the end of this video. Now take a look at some of my other videos if you need a little bit of extra help with the blending technique, but I'm literally using sponges because it ends up having a nice like airbrushed look. The gradient from one color to the next is easier to make when you're sponging it on while the paint is still wet. So I'm literally just adding a little bit of lighter blue or a little bit of white just to gently lighten that blue across the rock. And I'm going to do the same thing with the purple. Make sure you use different sponges. Don't always use the same sponge, or like some people have actually said, it ends up looking like mud because all your colors mix together and it looks like mud when you're done. So make sure you don't use your blue sponge on the purple end. You know what I mean? Make sure you use a fresh sponge for each different color that you're using. And always use a dry sponge to kind of blend it in a little bit better. If it's not blending in with your paint covered sponge, try using a dry sponge afterwards while it's still wet and it'll blend together. It does take time. Once you figure it out, you will love it. You won't be able to stop blending, I promise, because it just gives it such a beautiful gradient look, and it looks beautiful no matter what colors you use. And I will show you, like I said, at the end a couple of different ones that I've done. So today we're just working on the background. If you don't want to do a fancy background, do whatever you want with the background. If you don't want to do this, you decide. That's what's the best thing about rock painting, because it's all up to you. You get to decide what you're doing. And I actually, you might see, it might look like I've changed it up a little bit. It's because I had to. I accidentally made eye contact with one of my cats while I was working at my desk on this stone. And once you make eye contact, they're up on my desk and they're walking across my rock. So not only did I have footprints to wash off my floor, but I had to fix this rock right in the middle of this tutorial. So if it does look different, it's because it is. Now I am using sparkle powder, shell powder, chrome powder. It's for nails. You can order it online or in nail stores, Sally, makeup supply stores, stuff like that. But I did get mine online, and it's just very fine glitter. You can probably use eyeshadow. Just dust it on. I used 3 different colors, like a white, a purple, and a blue, and I just kind of dusted it on after my paint was dry. Then I've penciled on. It's really hard for you to see, so I've just kind of skipped past the pencil part and moved right onto the black paint so that you can actually see the shape of my feather. Basically, just draw a long curved line across the rock to start with the middle of your feather. And there's probably a technical name for that, and feel free to leave it in the comments because I know somebody will, just to let me know that I'm not as smart as what I portray myself, I suppose. But I don't know. Is it a vein? Is it the stem of the feather? I don't know what it's called. I just like to paint it. I'm a painter. I'm not a genius. So let's just leave it at that. So what I'm doing, it kind of, when you're done, it looks a little bit like a feather that's a little bit wet. Some of the feather has separated and stuck together in different spots, and just be random with it. Just be random. Put the curls in different directions of the feather. I try and make them, the strands, a little bit shorter when you get to the end of the feather, but I lengthen them throughout the middle, and they're going in all different directions. So you'll see in a moment. You might have to watch this a little bit further before you understand what I'm doing once I fill it all in. But basically, I'm making little chunks of the feather, and I'm blacking them out with black paint in a moment. So I'm just doing my outline for you so that you can see what I'm doing. But then I'm just going to paint it all in with black paint. And if you need to pause it so that you can see how I've drawn my feather, once it's all filled in with black, it'll be much easier to take a look at what I've done. So I'm just going to go in part by part and just fill it in. I will be leaving in the description of this video the type of sponges that I'm using. I'll leave a tutorial for the paintbrush that I'm using, the fine paintbrush. I will also leave the paint colors that I used on this rock, the shell powder or chrome nail powder that I put the glitter over the whole background. I'll leave a link for that where I bought it on Amazon, but I'm in Canada, so you might be able to find it on Amazon as well in the United States, but I'm really not sure where you can find it anywhere else. You'll just have to get online and take a look at the Google and see if the Google can help you find it. But it will be all listed in the description. So now that you can see what I've done with the feather, it just looks like a wet feather that's a little bit separated here and there and curly and unique, and each feather is different. So that's what I love about them. Each feather, you can't possibly get them exactly the same. We're not tracing it, right? So so your feather is going to be unique. Every feather you make will be unique. Now I'm going over with rose gold. I will leave that in the description as well. I just find that it goes on nice and smooth, and it stands out on these colors of this rock. So I'm going to stick with the rose gold today, and I'm literally just lining around all the way around like I do with a lot of my rocks. I just line all of it with gold or rose gold. And if you want to leave it like this, if you don't want to put the gold on, you don't have to. If you want to just leave a black feather on your rock and walk away and love it like that, that's just fine as well. Now I'm just on the bottom half of my feather. I'm going to do a couple of lines just going in the direction of the feather. The top half, I'm going to get back to that nail shell powder or the nail glitter powder, and I'm going to go on the top half of the feather with the glitter. And I'm just going to lightly dust it in there using a makeup sponge. But the lower half has got the little lines going in the direction, and then the top half is glitter again. So I go like beyond just the background sparkling. I want sparkling everywhere. So if you like gold and you like anything that sparkles, this is going to be nice for you. And I'm just using different colors. Like this is more of a purple shade of glitter, so I'm putting that on the purple part of the feather where the background is purple. Then I'm going to use white where it's white, and then when I move on to the blue, I'm using a blue glitter. So the whole feather changes color with the background. It looks beautiful, let's just say. Now I'm just going to cut off the middle with a black line, clean it all up, make sure there's no glitter on the other side of the feather where I've drawn the lines in. Because really I just want to separate it. I want there to be two different halves to this feather. So one's black and with gold lines, and the other side just sparkles like crazy. There we go. Now there is this quote that I'm absolutely in love with. And it's by a poet or writer, and her name is Erin Hansen, and she's very young, but she's just brilliant. And there's this saying, it's, what if I fall? And oh my darling, but what if you fly? So it's kind of like taking a leap and just going for it, and it's so inspirational, and I just thought it would be fantastic to put what if you fly on this stone. You can put whatever you want. It can be hope, it can be peace, it can be just simple fly like I've done on one of these ones that you're going to see now. Now this has been resined. So this is what it looks like finished, sealed. I will leave my tutorial for resin. It's called Rockin' the Resin. It's on my channel. It will help you make your thing shiny like this. Now here's a red, white, and purple one. Beautiful. I'm telling you, try it out with a whole bunch of different colors. This one's plain background on the rock because the rock is beautiful, and I just did a simple feather and put